Hello Nigeria, many thanks for joining Newsline. I am Becky Madujimu. Tonight we are bringing you jaw-dropping incidents that happened recently. You probably saw the story on social media about a student of Queen's College who got into trouble after she showed up in school wearing false eyelashes. There was a video of her mother versus a security personnel at the gate that went viral. We were at the school on a fact-finding mission, and we'll bring you the story. And from up north comes a report on how a man reacted after government and individuals showed his family some generosity following the birth of his triplets. You won't believe what he almost did to those babies. Then a teenager decides to play the hero at the wrong place at the wrong time, while a man who locked up his sister for 2 years in a lonely outback explains why he took that step. Apart from tales of the unexpected, we have events and parties that you will enjoy. Believe me when I say it's a great outing tonight. Let's watch the news first with Rhoda Anunam. Over to you, Rhoda.
Thank you very much, Becky, and welcome to the new segment of Newsline. The European Union and Oxfam are funding a social investment project in northern Nigeria. The project targets improvement in food security and resilience of vulnerable persons. Musa Babali visited some benefiting communities of the EU project to ascertain the impact.
This group of farmers are beneficiaries of EU Oxfam Agriculture Extension Program. They harvest more than 10 bags of 70 kilograms of maize against the 4 to 5 bags they get annually.
They are not doing spacing, and they don't maybe apply fertilizer 2 times in a plot.
Hali Aliyu is a sorghum farmer in Wasagu. He was supported with fertilizer and extension service to expand his farm.
For the last 3 years, I'm harvesting this for not almost to 12 sacks or 10. But now, for last year, I harvest more than 20.
The women in Jega, Benin Kabi and Wasagu were grouped into associations, which they were trained in financial literacy, nutritional program and marketing. 70-year-old Saida Todemu is a member of one of the associations in Wasagu. A widow with no child or grandchild says the EU project has been a great helping hand. I saved 13,000 naira last year, and this year I'm hoping to start rearing goats, she says. Also incorporated in the project, planting to protect farming areas against desert encroachment.
We planted over 600 trees in Government Girls Secondary School, Wasagu, in order to fight against this climate change.
5,000 trees have been planted in 3 local government areas of Kebbi State. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, is optimistic that the entire stretch of the Lagos-Ibadan rail line will be completed before the end of April 2020. The minister, while on another round of inspection of the 157-kilometer rail project, also directed the contractor to integrate the narrow and standard gauge rail to save cost and ensure timely completion of the project. Michael Olaleye reports.
For every mile covered, the changes are visible, depicting the remarkable progress of work done at the Lagos corridor of the rail project. Even with this pace, the minister is still demanding for more, urging the contractor to speed up actions to meet contractual obligations. At most of the train stations along the axis, work is still at basic stage, a development the minister attributes to the late arrival of construction materials.
The other things they are still expecting from China, the pipes, the cables, all sorts of things they expect from China. They've started arriving. If they arrive, they say give us 1 to 2 months, we should be able to complete those stations.
Although the pace of work is still within the stipulated time, but dealing with the challenges of relocating cables and sewage at the Lagos corridor is demanding, especially with the emerging threat of theft and vandalism.
Latest April, we'll be out of this place. We are no longer giving ourselves the time. The contractor is the person giving us the time. Don't forget there are two contracts here. Most people are forgetting there are two contracts. The first contract is Ebute Meta to Ibadan. That's the first contract. Then I came up with the idea that, listen, you don't have railways that don't end up in the seaport. So that's the extension that's the big challenge now.
The Nigerian Railway Corporation is keeping hope alive that the interstate operation between Ijoko in Ogun State and Ebute Meta in Lagos, earlier suspended due to the replacement of rail tracks, will soon be reactivated.
For the narrow gauge, they have given date of 15th of December, where we will restore that. And the inspection is part of putting pressure on the contractor to deliver.
The pressure put into the timely completion of this project is understandable. This is because, aside the hope that it will reduce the stress associated with traveling on roads, the comfort and luxury provided by this facility will be forced to none. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Voices advocating more attention for mental health issues are getting louder, with more groups seeking definite policies. Correspondent Ali Rabi Ali reports that the Mandate Health Empowerment Initiative is the latest group decrying the abuse of the rights of persons with mental health conditions, most of them chained and locked up. The group stated this at a media briefing and appeals for urgent commitment to mental health issues in Nigeria.
The protection of persons with mental disorder from discrimination, victimization, and unfair treatment by employers, academic institutions, and other agencies.
However, why this is very important is that we can't do it on our own. We need the government buy-in. We need a national policy. We just don't need a national policy. We need one that's implemented and not just on paper. And so that's why this is very, very important.
The group is also asking government at all levels to sensitize traditional and religious leaders on mental health issues for appropriate treatment and counseling. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has distributed relief materials for onward distribution to victims of the fire disaster in Yobe Potash Market to cushion the effect of the disaster. The Director General of the agency, Mustafa Mehaja, who led NEMA's delegation to the scene of the incident, expressed shock over the level of devastation. Ilyasu Ali Yakub tells us more.
This is the third time the people of Zangwan Kamwa Potash Market in Gashua town of Bade local government area of Yobe State are facing fire disaster in 2019. More than 3 million naira worth of potash are said to have been destroyed, and 103 shop owners were affected in the latest disaster. Director General of NEMA Mustafa Mehaja said the immediate deployment of building materials is to immediately ensure the reconstruction of the market before other assistance to give them a sense of belonging. He said NEMA is working on modalities on proactiveness rather than reactive.
This is market. People have lost their businesses. So what we need to do to uplift their businesses will come later. Steps are being taken at all times, and a reduction in the consequences of disaster or even occurrence of disaster is assured.
The victims commended both NEMA and the state government for the quick response and appeal for more assistance to get back on their feet. We appreciate the government for this gesture.
We thank God for this assistance.
At the end of the inspection by both NEMA and SEMA delegations, Mustafa Mehaja constituted a committee to recommend a lasting solution to the perennial fire disaster in the area. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu, NTA News.
The Nigerian Army has scaled up the ongoing exercise Crocodile Smile 4 in Takwa Bay in Lagos State. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa accompanied the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, on an operational tour of the redeployment.
As part of the operational visit, the Chief of Army Staff went round Takwa Bay, a former Ford operation base, developed to a super camp to enhance rapid response to threats within the island. After inspecting platforms and deployment at the super camp for Takwa Bay General Area of Responsibility, the Army Chief charged troops to adhere strictly to the rules of engagement and be proactive in tackling threats.
We must continue to train to support the civil authority when the situation arises. If we train hard now, as when the time requires us to go for the real operation, it's going to be very easy.
Lieutenant General Tukubra also appraised medical outreach in Takwa Bay, a civil-military relations component of Exercise Crocodile Smile.
With the renewed zeal of our officers and men, not only in the northeast, but across the country, and this exercise, Crocodile Smile, as well as I Am Apatuma, as well as Ajulogo Udo, they have been operated along this concept of the super camps. And we're happy that the results that are coming out are quite encouraging, and we continue to develop on this concept.
The duties of the French correspondent could be exciting, adventurous, but risky. From Takwa Bay in Lagos State, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps has reacted to a trending video of an unfortunate road traffic crash that occurred in Ibadan recently, leading to the death of a staff of the Corps and one other person in Oluyole Unit's command. In a statement by the Corps' Public Relations Officer, Bisi Kazim, the Corps clears the air on the matter and refutes insinuations from the trending video that the FRSC vehicle was in motion at the time of the incident. The press release explains that the official of the Corps who was on the said day were assigned to monitor and control traffic were approached by a truck driver who intended to make an inquiry from one of the members of the team. When a Mercedes-Benz ran into the patrol vehicle and in the process killed the marshal, attending to the driver of the truck, one other person, and left another Corps official seriously injured. It is also of importance to intimate the public that the alleged reckless driver has been taken to court and charged accordingly. It's been a show of culture in the past few days at the 12th International Art and Craft Expo organized by the National Council for Arts and Culture. Ruth Aguela reports that the nations and states who participated are anticipating stronger bilateral ties with the host country.
Though of different faces, background and religion, arts and culture has brought them all for the 12th International Arts and Craft Expo, organized by the National Council for Arts and Culture. For Nigeria, it was a big platform to network Nigerian crafts to the rest of the world and a yardstick to leave a legacy in promoting unity in diversity potential the nation has got to offer.
Nigeria is a great country. Nigeria has a rich culture and tradition that, if it open, cannot be compared with any country in the world.
And culture brings peace. I pray that the peace we are all praying and yearning for, which we are enjoying now in Nigeria, will extend to all the other countries and the world at large.
For no nation can grow beyond and above their culture and tradition. Culture and tradition has something to do with destiny.
In preserving the nation's rich cultural heritage, the need to promote the creative industry to grow the economy was strongly emphasized.
We've been silent. We need to come out and tell the world that really we are ready to showcase our strength, not our weaknesses any longer. So today is a huge statement of what Nigeria has to offer.
All 30 countries, states and states that participated at the expo were given certificates and awards.
Our relationship with Nigeria is a very deep relationship, and we are sharing the same culture actually.
After this, we are working to have different bilateral meetings with the National Council for Art and Craft, with the Ministry of Culture of Nigeria, to increase the bilateral cultural cooperation.
The commemoration of the International Cultural Diplomacy for Peace was a symbol of unity as participants look forward to INEC 2020. In Abuja, Ruth Abuela, NTA News.
Counting of ballots has commenced after voting ended in the presidential election in Guinea-Bissau. Musbao Dangwahab reports that the election observers mission says it is satisfied with voters' turnout and the conduct so far.
73-year-old Guinea-Bissau has been observing as Guinea-Bissau struggles through her political evolution. He's certainly not happy with the political instability. Bremer joins other Guinean electorate as they hope this presidential election would take their country out of the roots of political crisis.
We are voting to turn a new page in Guinea, and I hope after the election the politicians will allow the country to stabilize.
Process commenced on schedule with polling officials on ground at centers as early as 6 a.m. Polling officials and party agents were the first to cast the ballots before the electorate on the queue. Pre-election day voting is allowed here too, as security agents sent in the votes. In the city and in the suburbs, it was a peaceful conduct, even without heavy presence of security personnel. This was confirmed as the ECOWAS mission compared notes with American Embassy and Civil Society Organization Situation Room.
Étape importante dans la vie institutionnelle.
This is a very important step for a country that desires socio-political stability and development. And ECOWAS is monitoring closely to ensure that the process can take place in a peaceful atmosphere.
La communauté internationale, au premier rang de laquelle la CEDEAO.
11 candidates, including 4 former prime ministers, are contesting the seat with incumbent President Jose Mario Vaz, who wants a return. And a candidate must poll at least 50% plus 1 vote to emerge winner. Otherwise, the 2 leading candidates will go for another round of election legislated for December 29. In Bissau, Musbao, Wahab, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed solidarity with the government and people of Kenya, the Democratic Republic of Congo, over the deadly flood disaster and devastating mudslide wreaking havoc in some parts of their countries. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, who says in separate messages of sympathy and solidarity to the leaders of Kenya and DRC, the 2 countries most hit by the recent incidents, President Buhari extends the sympathy of Nigerians to the victims of these deadly and devastating disasters. The Nigerian leader expressed sadness over the loss of lives and the economic and social implication to the country, and the president told the leaders of Kenya and the Democratic Republic of Congo the hearts and prayers of all Nigerians are with those affected. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari expects a scrupulous investigation into the heinous murder of Madam Acheju Abo, woman leader of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Wadaro Campaign Council in the just concluded gubernatorial election in Kogi State. In a statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the President decries the murder of another human being, particularly a woman who was burned to death in her home in the most gruesome manner. President Buhari charges all security agencies involved in the investigation to do a thorough and expeditious job on the matter so that justice could be served without fear or favor. Such evildoers must be brought to justice irrespective of whatever allegiances they hold, the President affirms. Now in sports, respite comes from Nasarawa United Football Club of Lafia in Week 5 of the Nigerian Professional Football League. As Amanzi Marcus tells us more.